Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fortress Comic News, episode 330. I'm one of your hosts, Chris, alongside my co-host here, Mike. What's going on, Mike?
Nothing much. I recording from the new address, and I it's gonna suck in the wintertime, Chris, because this lighting I have in this window is like perfect. I have no lights on in the room right now, and it's like I have a spotlight.
I know it's like you got like the
Yeah,
light of God coming
yeah.
down
I
on
have
you
like
right now.
the streamer set up. I'm like,
just,
hey,
just be
thanks.
honest with everybody. You bought
Yeah.
a circle light, didn't you?
Yeah, no. If I did, you would see the circles in my eyes, right? You don't see them. Like that's the one thing about circle lights. They're like, hey, welcome to my channel, and they look like they're possessed by like an angel of doom or some shit. I don't know. Like Constantine that needs to come in and take care of him. Yeah, I'm all set up here, so it's kind of nice. I have a little. Oh, so we do have an interview today, everybody. Carissa Grant will be on the show, so looking forward to that. Kickstarter called Worthy Chaos. It's redemption horror adventure. So
speaking of like God, there's a lot of like Christian elements in terms of like it's angels, demons, vampires, all that fun stuff. So
just the Saturday morning fun you're all looking for.
Yeah, the book reminded me of and I mean this in a nice way because there's definitely an audience for it.
Mm-hmm.
But it reminds me of like those CW vampire shows.
Oh yeah, where they're all beautiful.
Oh yeah, where they're just the sexiest vampires ever.
Everybody's like a model.
No, but like that style, where it's kind of like it's a little melodramatic, but like
yeah.
But the book's well done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the target audience here, but
I
did enjoy it.
It's nice. I don't have the camera. I have the background on still for everybody listening, but I do have my trade shelf right. Like I can reach some trades from it. I won't do that right now, but so it's pretty nice to have all these books right here behind me for a comic podcast. I just need a magazine spinner rack. I do have like room for it, so I'm gonna work on that.
I've looked into those a few times. It's be prepared to fork out some cash, sir.
Yeah, maybe Christmas. Maybe that's for Christmas or my birthday or something. I don't want to pay for that on my own. But funny story. So there's a little area of New York near me called Scotia. It's pretty close to Schenectady. And they have a little it used to be like a comic shop. It's not so many comics, more like toys and games and stuff. Mostly Magic cards now because that's what Magic and Pokemon makes money.
Yeah.
I walk in, he had some trades all over the tables like on sale, and I look and I'm like, oh, there's the foil deluxe edition of Dark Knight's Metal, and I forgot where I was, and I bought the deluxe foil edition of Dark Knight's Death Metal. This was years ago, and I was like, I'll buy the first one eventually, and I completely forgot. And then I saw this sitting on the table for like 50% off, and I was like, well, here we go. So it's fun when things like that work out in your favor sometimes.
I went to, I don't know if this is a national brand or not, but do you have Ollie's near you?
Yeah, like the bargain outlet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff cheap is the slogan for them.
Yeah, don't buy furniture there.
No. I go in there and like every so often they have like just random shit that's on sale. Mm-hmm. Like usually it's like coffee, but like the box is dented, so it's like 20% off, and I don't care enough. So
right.
But they sell books and they sell comics, Mike.
They do?
Yes.
I did not know this.
Yes. So I usually go in there like once a month to check in on things because they usually change their sales about every month.
Uh-huh.
And I went in the other day and they had the entire basically, I forget what they called them, but they were 12 issue collections of Preacher.
Oh.
So I bought the entire Preacher series for $30.
Are you kidding me?
I am not kidding you.
So each trade was what, like $5?
$5.
Do you like how I did that math really quick? Thank God I did it right. That's insane, dude. I don't even have that. I would have picked that up instantly for $30.
$30. I walked in. I go over there and check it because I'm gonna be honest with you. Most of the time, it's like
stuff you don't care about.
Yeah, it's like Harley Quinn New 52 Volume 3.
Yeah, that like nobody bought.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know they made 3 volumes of that.
But and then, just random shit like that. And even like the Marvel stuff, it's like it's basically the overstock that like Marvel and DC couldn't get rid of.
Right.
But at one point they had most of Fables. So I have Fables sitting in this house somewhere too, because they had like most of Fables in the soft cover.
That's awesome.
But this was just like one where I walked in and I'm like, holy shit, it's Preacher. It's the entire Preacher.
Which that's not like a book to sleep on. For those of you that don't know, Preacher was always, when I first got into comics, was like held as one of the standards of like ultimate storytelling. And that came in the 90s, right? Wow.
Yeah.
What a time to write an epic comic book. Garth Ennis.
I've read it before, obviously, but like now I own it, and eventually I'll have to reread through Preacher. So but yeah, that was a fun experience. And then I also it's hidden by my gigantic head, so I'm gonna try to move and see. But you can see my Granite State Punk page and the printer plate for that page.
Wow.
Framed and ready to go. So
that's very nice.
And if if you're eagle-eyed enough, a few other things have gone up too. But
see that.
I mean, the Marvel flag's pretty obvious, but
that was hard to miss. Are you a Marvel guy, Chris? I can't tell.
Yeah, a few pop figures went up, including Batmite. I found my Batmite, so that had to go up.
Nice. Yeah, very cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, getting through one box at a time, man. And so next time we record, I don't think it's going to be in frame, but over here I got a shelf where all my board games are going to go. So I'll send you that when that's done.
Nice.
Everybody's listening to this is like, Chris, we don't care what you're going to send Mike later, but I don't care, Mike. Just so you know.
Yeah. No, they do. Maybe they do care. You don't know.
I'll probably post it on X.
Yeah, on X.
Because it marks the spot, everybody.
X marks this. All right. With that, we're going to jump into the news, everybody. Don't want to keep Carissa waiting in the interview. TV. During an interview with Collider, David Harbour said a few things about his role in the DC upcoming Creature Commandos show. I didn't know what it was. So this is a quote from David Harbour, everybody. I didn't know what it was when it was sent to me. There he is. Look at that. Oh, my God.
A beautiful bastard.
Yeah. I met with James Gunn, and he sort of laid out a lot of stuff. It's really exciting. He considers it some of the best stuff he's ever written, Harbour enthused. It's hilarious. The character's great. I think it's been announced that it's Frankenstein and not a very colorful, terrific character. So, yeah, we've started as a very colorful, terrific character. So, yeah, we started to shoot stuff. I'm not one to really break, but during this, it's wildly funny stuff. So, yeah, we're shooting. It's hilarious, and I can't wait for people to see it. I didn't know he's playing Frankenstein. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think that was announced a while ago. I can't remember if we talked about it or not, but
yeah,
it's a cool little quote. I'm shocked that he's talking about it at all with all the strikes and stuff going on, but because let me tell you, TV news has been bare, Mike.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot going on there. New York Comic-Con happening in October. Hey man, all the Comic-Cons are going to be about comics again, Chris. Can you imagine that?
Well, apparently Bob Iger is like really keen to get this thing done. I think that the studios are finally starting to feel the push. Like they need something on the shelves.
Right. Yeah.
And, but yeah, so I'm really excited for Creature Commando. I like the cast we got here.
Yeah.
David Harbour is awesome.
I thought it was animated though, right?
It is.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that characters can't come to live action, because I believe Weasel's in it and we've already seen him live action.
Oh yeah, we've seen him in Suicide Squad.
And we could put David Harbour into a bunch of makeup again. I mean, he did it for Hellboy.
Yeah, he's been there, done that, right?
Yeah, maybe we'll get an Agent of Shade movie.
Wow.
I'm not gonna lie, I'd be down for that.
Yeah, I'd watch. Now I would watch it / read it, but when the New 52 came out, I was not ready for that. I don't think a lot of people were.
No, that was a strange book, but it got good after a while. Like it took a while, but
yeah. When you put Frankenstein at the center of a book, honestly, with the way they
sword,
the way they treat him though, in Justice League Dark and stuff, like having him as one of those characters, I think is awesome. Yeah, I mean David Harbour's voice and his size would be perfect for Frankenstein. So why not?
Yeah.
Movie stuff. So I finally watched Guardians of the Galaxy last night. That was really good. I didn't expect it to be that depressing. And for some reason, I didn't put 2 and 2 together that Adam Warlock is the kid from We Are the Millers, but
Yep.
yeah, he had a pretty big glow up, I would say. Yeah, it was great. The like thing at the end, like Star Lord will return. It's like, okay, but like if James Gunn's not writing it, do we really care? I don't know.
He didn't write Endgame or Infinity War. I mean, I know some people shit on his like moment in Infinity War, I think it was, but people still cared.
They dropped an F-bomb in my Marvel movie, so that was always interesting. Yeah, I think overall it was good. Really, really sad shit though. Like, man, like, come on, that was messed up.
I think that movie, because there's been a lot of talk recently about superhero fatigue, because that's to pop up every 2 years to shit on Marvel movies. And I think that movie proves that there is no superhero fatigue. There's, as long as the movie's good, like people are down. It's not that people are sick of superheroes; they just don't want they've seen what superhero movies can be, so now they want that.
Yeah,
they don't want the subpar ones anymore.
I think James Gunn just gets it. Like he just knows how to deliver that stuff on the big
which is why I have so much faith in DC moving forward. Like the fact that he's helming everything.
The Nathan Fillion's character was great. Love that guy as like the extra grunt guy or whatever he was. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. You saw TMNT Mutant Mayhem.
I did.
Yeah. What's up with that? Was it fun? Was it good? Bad?
It's good. It's being way overhyped.
Really?
Like there's 2 things right now that I'm like a part of that are just so overhyped that I don't understand it. And it's this. And I just started playing Final Fantasy 16. And mind you, I just started playing it, so maybe it gets better, but I just don't understand why everybody's so high on that either. TMNT is nowhere near the best TMNT thing. Like,
really?
There's no way I'm sorry, there's been so much better TMNT movies, TV out there.
Megan Fox is in one of them. You can't top that.
Exactly. No. This is really great if like you have a kid who has never experienced TMNT and wants it, like wants to check it out. Like this is their starting point. So, I guess caveat, it immediately loses points because we have to do the fucking origin for the TMNT for the turtles again. Like we get it, they're covered in ooze.
Yeah, but it's more of like, where did the ooze come from, right? Did they talk about that or no?
They did, and they kind of changed that a little bit, but it's just, I don't know, just I'm a broken record at this point, but like this is up there with Batman, Spider-Man. Like you don't need to tell the turtles' origin.
Yeah.
At least I don't believe you do. So immediately loses points there.
How is the voice acting?
Voice acting is phenomenal. The animation is phenomenal. The movie's good. Don't get me wrong, but like this is where it goes off a little bit for me. Is that, and then it's obviously it's not an all ages movies. It's a kids movie, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
it's just I'm not a kid anymore. And I really didn't. I don't know how much spoilers I want to go into, but like I didn't like the direction that the movie went in with like the turtles and their aspiration and where they end up at the end of the movie. It's definitely unique from anything I've seen turtles wise. So I'll give them that. They did something different. So kudos for trying something different. I just didn't like it. I'll say what the hell's the gecko's name? Shit.
The gecko? I didn't know there was a gecko.
The Mondo Gecko. Mondo. Yes, meet Mondo Gecko. Mondo Gecko is voiced by Paul Rudd in this. And Mondo Gecko is my spirit animal. He was the best part of the movie. It's a stoner gecko who skateboards.
That's awesome.
Like I'm all for that.
Love him.
And then it follows a very simplistic story arc. You know, we get the origin. Think of Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire. You get the origin. The origin leads into the villain, and then the villain goes. You fight the villain, you beat the villain, but then the villain gets bigger and better, and you have to fight him again for the final battle, and then boom, movie's over. It just, I don't know, it didn't hit with me all that well. And I walked out with I went with my nephew, and I talked to a few friends afterwards to see if I was just crazy or if I'm just jaded or what it is. And with the exception of my hardcore Ninja Turtle fan friends, everyone I talked to felt the same way. That it was kind of like, it was good, it wasn't great. I probably would never watch it again. I'd be down for a sequel, which it seems like they will do, because there is a stinger at the end of it. But yeah, I don't think it's one you got to rush out and see. I think it's one you take your time with, personally.
Yeah, especially someone like me who's not a huge Turtle fan.
I think the most for someone like you, honestly, it's the animation's really going to be like, it's almost at that level of Spider-Verse, where like the animation's unique and cool.
Yeah,
so that will draw you in, but the actual substance, the story, what's there, is going to leave you like a little bit disappointed. And in a world where I had Spider-Verse 2 this year, like,
true. Yeah,
I've already had 2 great animated movies this year, and then this has to live up to those 2. So
yeah, it's hard to beat that.
It's a little unfortunate. I was hoping it would be much better than it was, but I just think it's a travesty that it's the highest rated TMNT movie.
Yeah, that's crazy. I
mean,
mean,
I know people shit on the 90s movies, but I'm sorry, I love those movies.
Yeah, they're fun.
And the 2000s animated movies were way better than this thing.
Yeah, the live action ones, I had fun watching those. I didn't think they were terrible.
The more recent ones, or the old ones?
The more recent ones. Yeah.
I mean, those aren't bad either.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would have to think more of my rankings, but I know in my heart that this does not deserve the 98% on Rotten Tomatoes it has.
Yeah.
I don't know where that comes from. I do know where it comes from. It comes from a world of you either love something or you hate something. Something can't just be okay. And that's the problem, is this movie's just okay. Probably 6.5, 7 out of 10.
Yeah. I'll wait till it comes out on streaming somewhere. Comic news, everybody. Marvel has announced the return of Sentry, kind of. Sentry has been dead since the King in Black crossover event back in 2020. Now we have a new miniseries called Sentry #1 from writer Jason Liu, artist Luigi Zagaria. In the series, we'll see Sentry's powers and memories manifest in people around the world, but only one can take over the mantle of the Sentry. So we're getting the Sentry back, kind of. Yeah.
We're getting
a Sentry.
We're getting the Death of Superman sequel to Sentry.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I don't know if you can count there, Mike, but I see 5 different Sentries.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, 5.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened after Death of Superman, right? Weren't there 5 different Supermen? Or was it 4?
I think so. Yeah, 4. It was Henry Irons is one of them, right?
Yeah. It doesn't matter. But anyway.
Anyways, yeah, it's very similar.
Yeah, so I think that's what they're doing. I mean, we'll see who it is. I have a distinct feeling I know things about it just based on what they said, but I'm not going to predict
on this one. The person in the front looks like Jubilee from X-Men.
I mean, yeah, because the outfit,
yeah, the outfit with the jacket just reminds me of Jubilee, or the vest.
Yeah, I think Marvel's going through this cycle again where they're going to try to recreate heroes with new identities, which is going to get them a lot of flack from certain crowds and comics.
Yep.
I was not the biggest fan of it the first time it came around, thinking, why are they doing this? But I ended up being a fan of a lot of the characters that came out of it, so I'm willing to give it another shot. I just hope this isn't the cycle we go through every 5 or 6 years.
Whether or not you like it, Chris, there's going to be news articles on mainstream websites about this shit.
Well, it's good, yeah, because 2 people on X are going to get mad about it. So then every news outlet's going to make it out to be like the entire world hates the new Japanese Sentry or whatever it ends up being. And then I'm going to click through it and be like, I don't care because it's two people.
Right.
And the rest of us are either saying it's good because it's good or it's bad because it's bad.
It's actually a shit book. Yeah.
Yeah. But that aside, I like the Sentry. So I will try it, but I just don't know. I don't know if there's certain characters that like I think you can have a mantle for and can move on from.
Yeah, this probably isn't one of them.
I don't know if the Sentry's one of them. Even though it's a character I like, I don't think it's one of them.
Thanos is back with his own mini series titled, of course, Thanos, from writer Christopher Cantwell, artist Luca Pizzari. In this series, Thanos will fight the Illuminati, who hid an item of power from the Mad Titan. Yeah, so there we go. That is Thanos on the cover of the book called Thanos. And I feel like we get one of these miniseries about Thanos every couple years here.
Yeah, because this guy buys them.
Yes, right. Yeah, it's a cool cover.
Cooler cover is this one?
Oh, yeah, it's way cooler.
The Infinity Gauntlet.
And then the Illuminati. Yeah, now that's a cover.
Yeah. So, I love the Illuminati. Illuminati is always a fun organization, group of characters. I love Thanos. Obviously, we're still building up to something with Thanos. I'm actually really curious behind the scenes because what was it, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, we talked about the Donny Cates situation. And Donnie's the one that was setting up this whole thing with Thanos, where there was a new Infinity Gem, and he was going to have the Necro Sword. All these things are building up, and then his life kind of fell apart, and he got in an accident. And I wonder if they're still going through with it or not, and if this is connecting into those plans.
Maybe.
So I'd be curious to see what behind the scenes is like there. But that aside, give me a Thanos book, I'm in. You give me an Illuminati book, I'm in. You give me both, I'm in, Mike.
Yeah, those two things together is a pretty cool combination.
Yeah.
Thanos looks pissed off as usual, so
I like a reed down here with.
Yeah, is that a gravestone?
Little gravestone.
Looks like he's popping out of the grave.
He's like one of those waving inflatable tube guys.
Yeah,
out of the grave.
Wacky inflatable arm guys.
Yeah.
It does look like that. Come buy a car here. This is a little interesting. A former guest of the show, Mr. Tom Brevoort, very nice gentleman, very cool guy, lots of experience at Marvel. He's a longtime Marvel Comics editor, currently the executive editor and vice president of publishing, announced that after 25 years of being in charge of the Avengers line at Marvel, will be taking over editing duties on the X-Men line, which that's got to be a lot to have under your belt, because there's definitely a lot going on with X-Men.
Yeah, look at that beautiful bastard.
Yes, there he is.
Yeah, I could imagine after 25 years of doing something, you're like, hey, can I do something different?
Yeah, can I work with something other than the Avengers? Yeah.
And obviously I think like any editor, like any creative endeavor, he's had ups and downs with his time with the Avengers. But I think it's been more up than down personally. He's been the guy in charge of the Avengers majority of my life, the entirety of my reading life with Marvel. So obviously I'm been very inspired by his work, being a Marvel fan. I think this also, I'm not keeping up with X-Men, but I think this also kind of shows that this whole fall of X or whatever is really the end of what Hickman had originally planned. Even if he was prematurely taken off it or whatever happened there, and they're going in a new direction, and I'll be interested to see what they do. Tom's a guy that likes classic comics. Like he loves his 70s and 80s comics. So I would not be shocked to see if the X-Men go back to a more classic team structure, to, Professor X and Magneto fighting each other, just kind of back to basics with them for a little while.
Yeah, that wouldn't be surprising. Yeah, good for Tom. Maybe getting back in the show sometime. He's a great guy. Image Comics announced that the No/1 writer and co-creator Brian Buccellato, alongside artist Stefano Simeone, are teaming up for a new comic series titled Midlife, or How to Hero at 50. The series will be about a middle-aged firefighter who discovers that he has superpowers. And there's the cover right there. Midlife, or How to Hero at 50. It looks like a fun book. Now, the No/1 was a tie-in for the Radiant Black's universe, right?
Yes, it is a Radiant Black book. Yeah.
Yeah. Is this one as well, or no?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
But how would you know, Mike? They never put it on the cover.
I know. They're like, oh, you should know from just the title cover pages that we show you. It's like, no. This looks interesting. He almost looks like a Flash style character. Is that like, he almost looks like a train? Is he supposed to look like a train? I think.
I think that's supposed to be a fireman's helmet, because this is the variant cover.
Then he has like a plow on his chin.
Yeah, if you look here, it's that right there.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
What I find interesting is so this is an interior page. They actually showed some interior pages, and this is very similar to how No One is set up, even though it's a different art team. He's obviously has a layout that he likes and he uses. So we'll see with that. I'm actually curious now to know if it is because everything I read, it didn't mention it, but sometimes I've had to dig to find that information.
It's like the worst marketing ever for
they're terrible.
Shared universe.
Yeah.
I think I've tweeted out too, like, guys, how was I supposed to know this? Nobody responds to me. Nobody. Like, I'm willing to buy more comics if you tell me, but no. Nobody's
it's I don't think it is, because it says so blah blah blah. This is the official Image website. 50-year-old firefighter has been afraid of fire his whole life. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Instead of running into burning buildings, he pushes papers, living in the shadow of his father, who died as a hero on the job for 25 years in the LA Fire Department. He's firmly in the middle of an unremarkable life until his wife gets pregnant, and a random act of courage reveals that Ruben is fireproof. Dude, you're 50 and your wife gets pregnant. That's
a surprise.
New York Times bestseller Brian, whatever his last name is, teams up with star artist Stefano Simeone, who was the artist for Last Days of Black Hammer and Radiant Black.
Nice.
To tell a totally relatable, sometimes cringy story of a middle-aged dad who's about to find out.
Why would they advertise that it's cringy? Goodbye. I'm out.
I hate when they do that.
Sometimes cringy. Well, sometimes I won't buy books that are that way.
Yeah. I don't think this is a Radiant Black thing. It's an interesting enough concept, and I'm sure it's something that Brian, I'm sure if we looked it up, Brian's probably in a middle-aged man, and so this is him telling the story of him going through his midlife crisis. But I don't know, my pull list is big, Mike. It's really big, and I like No One.
Yeah.
But this will be one I'll probably wait on if I do ever check it out.
Yeah, same. Okay, with that, I guess we'll read or talk about what we read.
Definitely.
Let's open some comics and read them for everybody. Yeah, so Justice Society, good issue last week. Just catching up on some stuff. Finally got to read Vicious Circle 1 and 2. Wham bam. Wild stuff. This story is insane. I can't wait for the third issue now. Time travel. Like, these guys were sent to... One was sent to save the world. One was sent to destroy the world, or something like that. They were part of a special forces team. And they're, like, chasing each other across time. And if you kill someone... Well, what happens is they killed each other at the same time, which sent them in, like, an infinite time loop of, like, whenever they kill someone, they get propelled into another timeline. They go back or forward. It's a crazy story. So it's really cool stuff, but not something I normally wouldn't expect from Boom. So it's really cool.
Yeah, I love the ending to issue 2 as well. Like, that last page is great.
Yeah, that was it's pretty awesome. Yeah, he's like, we're gonna got to get back to saving the fucking world. He's like, all right,
It's like, let's do it.
let's do it. Yeah, the whole thing with like, because the main character is black and like having him deal with segregation and stuff in another timeline is kind of crazy. And yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, and where issue 2 brings it, where like they realize they're changing history, so he chooses to stay in the 50s as a black man.
Yeah,
with a changed history says something too. Like,
yeah,
he did something so heroic.
yep.
And I guess spoilers, everybody, but they kill Hitler.
They kill Hitler. It was a pretty great page.
And he does something so heroic that like nobody will know about because they do it before he really like does the evil that he did in this world.
Right.
And his thing is like, all right, so this is my prize. I get to live in segregationist 1950s America. Like,
right.
But that's what I have to do to like keep everything the way it is. It's yeah, I love that book.
I think it was funny that you think that like you, because you killed Hitler, you ended racism in America. It's like, no, that was gonna happen. It was bound to happen anyways. Yeah, so it was pretty sad because he like starts a family and then he has to like leave them behind, which is pretty crazy. But
yeah,
really, really great story. And the third issue comes out soon. So
yeah, so you can find the issues due. If you can't and you have to wait for the trade, it's worth waiting for. That book is definitely gonna be on top of my list at the end of the year.
Yeah, really good.
Unless the last issue is just garbage, which I don't see happening.
I don't see it happen. Yeah. Godzilla Here Be Dragons #2. I did stick with this after my disappointment with the first issue. And I will say I'm glad I stuck with it. It's more like backstory from the pirate who's been captured. And he's telling the story of Godzilla. There's a sick page of like Godzilla killing the entire Spanish Armada with like a radiation blast. Like, this is what I was looking for in the I was like, fuck yeah, this is what I wanted out of my Godzilla pirate book. And then they go to hang the pirate at the end of all this. So like, we're gonna go hang you. So I can't imagine there's not gonna be any type of big interruption during this, Chris, of a kaiju level proportions. But no, I think I like the second issue a lot more than the first. So
I gotta read the second issue.
Yeah, you'll really like it. It really propels the story forward.
I remember I was higher on the first issue than you were, though.
Yeah, but you'll love this one. I mean, there's some great splash pages and stuff. Maskerade #7. This is Kevin Smith and Andy McCulloch-Fresh, and then Julia Gualazzi on the art. This is the Maskerade is going into the building that was like where she was orphaned, and is finally going to get the doctor behind all of it. I mean, a lot of weird movie and pop culture references. You know, definitely a Kevin Smith book. There's some Die Hard references, Bruce Willis shit. Big reveal that the character never had a brother when she ran away, that she was the only one, and that her brother, even at a young age, is all in her head. So we don't know if that's true or not, because she thinks that her brother was killed there. They get to the doctor and kill him, and then they're like in a live stream killing more of like the bad people that were involved. And that's kind of how the issue ends. So still interesting, you know.
Still 2 issues behind on that one.
Yeah, it's good. Read Night Terror Shazam #2, Wade and Cruz. Mary beats evil Shazam and then wakes up and realizes evil Shazam is still real, and he flies away. So that's kind of that. But she has to go through all her family members' dreams and like wake them up and help them, or nightmares, and help them like solve the issues going on in their nightmares. And then the last book I got to this week was Night Terrors #3. Yeah, Williamson and Kamankali in the art. Really good issue where Batman goes in like the space between reality with Damian to go get the Nightmare Stone, and he gets this crazy looking Daredevil costume. But it's like a Deadman / Batman combo outfit that's really sick. And
Daredevil.
Yeah, it's Daredevil. No, it was a good issue. They get the Nightmare Stone, but then like Batman seems possessed with it. So I guess we're gonna see what happens there.
Yeah, great issue. I love the purgatory world they end up in.
Yeah.
Damien just like immediately knowing like you're not my father. So whatever demon is possessing you,
right?
Just so many good things. This event's been a blast. from start to finish.
Oh yeah, this is a really good book.
Yeah. Was that everything you had?
Yeah, that's all I got this week.
All right, so I'm gonna start off with a shout out to friend of the show, Timothy Fling, because his book called The Cryptid came out, and he was nice enough to send me all 3 covers when I only purchased 1. And I'll say I really like this book. It's about, so it takes place in our neck of the woods, Mike.
Yeah.
So it's 1989 in Onondaga County, New York.
Interesting.
So very close to where I live. And it's about this girl who's, her dad died and she's going through some shit. And she gets in an argument with her mom, goes in the woods, like, screaming like kids in the 80s did in horror movies when alien abducts her. And because of that, the Men in Black come for her to figure out like what she knows and what she found out and all this stuff. And we find this whole like conspiracy with the government and everything going on. And that's when at the end of the issue, spoilers, everybody, she is saved by none other than Bigfoot, who's traveling through a multi-dimensional portal of some sort.
Interesting.
So it's everything right up my alley. It's cryptids. It's classic aliens. We're talking like Greys, like classic Area 51 aliens.
Yep.
80s New York, the Men in Black, all that fun stuff from like classic sci-fi and
nice
conspiracy theory stuff. So highly recommend it if any of that is intriguing to you. And the art's really good. The covers are cool. Yeah, Timothy hit a home run with this one.
Nice.
And I read an old one, but finally got around to reading Death Note.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Have you ever read this?
I've watched the show, some of it. I haven't read all of it though.
Okay, so this is I like this. This is the black edition. So like all the pages are black.
Nice. Yeah, it's really cool looking.
It contains the first 2 volumes in this. I guess the best compliment I give you is I'd ordered the rest of them after reading this.
There you go.
It lives up to every inch of hype.
Yeah.
Every inch of it.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knows the concept. This demon leaves a notebook. You write someone's name in it, they die. And this kid decides that he's going to start killing off like criminals and people who committed like heinous acts against society and everything, to try to like prove a point to everybody that if you do evil things, then this will happen to you. And he makes sure that they all die the same way, so like it's known. And it catches the attention of basically the UN, but like it's some weird fictional version of the UN.
Yeah.
And it becomes this kid versus this like superstar detective who's trying to figure out who the person is. And from there it just becomes like a back and forth between a serial killer and a detective.
Yeah.
And like how they interact and how they are playing with each other and all this stuff. So it obviously ended up right up my alley with all that crime stuff.
Oh yeah, it's a good story for sure.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of it. It won't be here for a while, Mike, because I took your advice and used that little portion on Amazon where I get money back for digital rewards. So
digital rewards all day, baby. Let's go.
So it's gonna be a few days. Comic Books Kill #1. This is from Scout.
Yeah.
Let me shout out the creators. I don't shout out enough creators. This is created by Shane Berryhill and Hoyt Silva. It's set in 1930s America, where this kid has an idea for a new superhero and is an artist who goes to his company and is trying to get his superhero published, when he gets like caught in between realizing that like the mob is running the comic book industry and all this stuff. So it's a cool like 30s, 40s noir story with a comic book twist to it. And I mean, literally a comic book twist.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. My one criticism of it is don't go buy the first issue, because it's a Scout Nonstop book that I didn't realize was a Scout Nonstop book. So it's literally they're putting out the first issue and then just putting out the trade later. And I find that really disappointing, because this would have been really cool to go month to month with and talk about and like read, as opposed to just getting a trade and brushing through it.
Right.
So I'm not a fan of that nonstop program personally. I love Scout, but I just think that's a bad idea. Maybe it's a good idea business wise, but like creatively and as a reader, I don't like it. Star Wars, Max Rebo #1, Mike.
Oh boy, here we go.
Dude, this book went harder than it needed to.
Wow.
So
Max
much
Rebo
harder
book.
than it needed to.
Wow.
These like Return of the Jedi one shots have been like okay.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't really recommend them to anybody. This is by far the best one, Mike.
That's hilarious.
I can't believe I'm saying this about a Max Rebo book.
Yeah, that's wild.
So anyone doesn't know, Max is the like, I don't know what that instrument is, some sort of keyboard thing player at Jabba's palace, and it's about he basically is like at the point where he realizes he's going to die.
What the hell?
And yeah, so it's him coming to terms with like the fact that he's going to die soon. And meanwhile, like people in his band have been like are going through like weird shit, and like one has been told that he has to kill Jabba and all this stuff. And then as Max goes out for the last, what he thinks is going to be his last show, is when Leia rescues Han from the carbonite. And like they blow up the barge and everything. So he's on the barge when that happens.
Oh no.
And he survives. And then it's him at the end, like at another bar and like a safer part of the galaxy, being like so happy that he's alive and upbeat and everything. So it's like, dude, it's a story about depression.
Wow.
And I don't know.
What a twist.
It's such a good one-issue story, and I can't believe it. I literally was like, I think I was joking with you that like Max Rebo might be my pick of the week just because I think it'd be funny.
Right.
And then it really ends up being one of the best books of the week.
That's crazy. Someone was like, I'm going to do this with Max Rebo. They're like, whatever, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's Older. Is it Jose Older? I remember I reached out to him on Twitter, not Blue Sky. And he actually responded and was like, thanks for liking Daniel Jose Older, who's actually like a novelist. So,
okay.
And I even told him, like, dude, you went harder than you needed to on this book. And he's like, thanks for that.
That's awesome.
I got the unbelievable, unfortunately, mostly unreadable and nearly unpublished Untold Tales of I Hate Fairyland #2.
Nice.
I won't get too far into it, but I'm really enjoying this. It's an anthology book set in I Hate Fairyland with different creators, and this one was a lot of fun. So if you are a big I Hate Fairyland fan like I am, it's more I Hate Fairyland.
Nice.
And then Mike, I have Guardians of the Galaxy #5.
Oh yeah, I gotta read that.
Groot Falls here. The whole team's together. Star-Lord has a plan, and he's going to save Groot. And nobody really believes in him, so they go through with it anyways. And the entire time, Rocket's just like, you're an idiot. This isn't going to work. Groot is dead. We need to get over it. Blah, blah, blah. And they go into the middle of this huge Groot attack and just fly their ship right into him. And as everybody's slowly sucked into Groot, and Star-Lord's the last one, and he thinks he's failed, or he's convinced he's failed. I'm pretty sure he didn't, because there's an issue 6. He stands into the mouth of this fiery Groot and says, well, I guess the only thing I do is go in and see if this works, and then falls in. And then we get the teaser that the next issue is going to be the origin of Groot Fall, followed by what happened here. So
cool.
Yeah, Guardians is really good.
Yeah, it is. They're doing a great job.
It's good stuff. So Mike, that's everything I read this week. Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Fortress Ricker on X. Where can they find you and or the show?
You can find me at Fortress Chris on most anything, whether it's X, Blue Sky, Threads, whatever it is. It's social media. I'm probably there. And you can follow the show at Fortress Comics _ on X.
Nice.
Or at fortresscompanynews.com. Remember, everybody, to like, subscribe, share, comment down below on this YouTube version of the show. And if you were listening to the podcast version, to give us 5-star reviews. And if you want to be super duper, you can go to Patreon at patreon.com/fortresscomics. Thank you all so much for watching and or listening this week. We'll see y'all here next week.